Imagine if you could easily find solutions to make your region or city smarter, greener, better connected, more social, and closer to citizens. The Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform can help you access knowledge about the latest policy trends, discover expert-validated good practices from all over Europe, find solutions in our peer review, get tailored support from our expert team. We can connect you with the right people and organizations. Together, we will find ways to solve your region's or city's challenges. Start your policy learning journey today.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rene Tonnisson, and I will be moderating on the behalf of European Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform, the upcoming webinar on silver economy. I am here together with my colleagues Schmerber and Lotte, who will be helping me with moderation and technical side. And I want to welcome very much all the participants who have already joined the webinar on silver economy, including our three speakers who will be presenting and sharing their experience shortly. But before going to the presentations themselves, let me just see if we have everybody joining, because I see only in my just double checking with you, Lotte, I only see our own people, not any other participants.
Yeah, no, the attendees have joined.
Sorry, some have already joined. All good. Very well, then we can get started. So let me share my screen to make some introductory remarks, and then I will also introduce the agenda of the webinar, as well as give the floor to the presenters. And let me also make it full screen. Just double checking, Lotte, can you see my slides or not? Because
we see it as if you're at the end. I think you need to go backwards.
Okay, let me do it again. And how is it now?
Yeah, now you're good.
All right. So there are a lot of colorful economies out there. If you have been following the discussions, there is a big discussion about green economy. Some people speak about blue economy, and now today we are speaking about silver economy. So perhaps the first step we can do is just to reflect a bit what is meant by silver economy and what is challenges and opportunities related to it. As I'm sure most of you are well familiar with, silver economy is a term mostly used for in connection with aging population and related to challenges, but also opportunities this aging process and trend creates for us. And as you know, there are different forecasts in the world, but the overall world population is aging, and in particular, so the population in Europe. Some of the forecasts say that in 20 years we have almost 1/3 of people who are over 50 years age. And silver economy is then a term which is used for describing the system of production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services which are aimed at using the potential of older and aging people and satisfying their consumption, living and health needs. That's what the Wikipedia definition says us about silver economy. And obviously, a very important component of silver economy is economic side, which creates also opportunities for business development and innovation. And it is also expected that this economic sector will significantly increase over the coming years. And we are today going to focus what type of opportunities silver economy is creating for small and medium-sized enterprises, and also highlight some of the good practices and examples from different countries across Europe. But just to mention briefly, without going into much details, also slides, including my own slides, as well as presenters from later will be shared with you, so you will have a chance to take a closer look on everything which is presented on slides. But I want to mention as an introduction here a couple of opportunities which silver economy can present for SMEs involved in developing products and services there. Well, first of all, and which is most familiar, is healthcare products and services, as people with getting older obviously demand more medical care, social care, and all type of care management services. So that's probably the biggest sector with biggest potential. Then we have obviously leisure and entertainment, as people need to have some activities and some fun in the area when they already retired, or even obviously before that. There is a specific subsector related to housing and accommodation in terms of what would be the living possibilities and standards for people who will not manage on their own perhaps anymore. There are also a number of financial services which are specifically targeted to the aging population. And finally, obviously, transportation, both for private transportation and also public transportation opportunities, which present with aging. With a process of aging within the silver economy. And as I mentioned, today we have three presentations from three different countries. First, we have Alice Charlet from France, who is going to present a case or good practice on Silver Surfer and HBA Living Lab, and she will then be followed by Joanne Boyle from Scotland, from Healthy Aging Innovation Cluster, and will share the good practices they have been developing in Scotland. And finally, we finish with Balazs Barta from Pannon Business Network, Hungary, and he will be speaking about a novel solution for healthy aging within a NOTRe project. Having said that, perhaps Lotte, if you want to just present some of the technical possibilities we have in this webinar in terms of chat and interaction before we actually give the floor to the presenters.
Sure, thanks, Rene. So welcome to everyone. Well, today during this webinar, you won't necessarily have the opportunity to speak, but you are very welcome to submit your questions through the chat. I've seen a lot of you have already found your way to the chat, so don't hesitate to use it also to get to know each other, ask your questions, and feel free to share any knowledge that you also might have on the topic. There is also a Q&A section. If you prefer to use that, you can also use it. But yeah, if not, you're free to chat with us, and we hope you enjoy this webinar.
Thank you so much, Lotte. And then I would like to invite Alice to share your screen and start your presentation. So please start with a short introduction of yourself and your organization. And then, of course, we are excited to learn what is your experience in silver economy in France.
Yes, hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to share my screen first. Can you see it?
Not yet. Now we can see it, and if you can make it full screen, then it's perfect. Yep, now it's in full screen. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for inviting Santé at the webinar focusing on silver economy as an opportunity for SMEs. My colleague Joanne sends his apologies because for not being able to attend the webinar today as a speaker. So I will be doing my best to present two good practices emerging for in the field of silver economy. So first of all, a short introduction about Santé, which is the regional development agency dedicated to health, nutrition and healthy aging and living in northern France. We are located near Lille. We are currently running 4 incubators, one dedicated to biotech and life sciences, the other one to food tech, the third one to silver economy that we launched in 2021, and a brand new one dedicated to sports and health. We are also an event organizer, as we are running 4 yearly large international partnering events, among them Aging Fit, which is dedicated to healthy aging, as a business European business convention. So the main objective of Santé is helping developing the regional economy by creating employment and wealth in the area while improving prevention and care. So we are supporting researchers, startups, so small businesses and enterprises to develop their projects. We have a dedicated team of project managers, and we are offering different services such as promoting the research activity, cooperating with research, set up a business, fundraising support, or recruitment support as well. So first of all, I'm going to introduce the several software call for projects, which has been identified as good practice within the Interreg Europe Silver SMEs project. So Silver SMEs aims to improve regional policies for the competitiveness of SMEs and to increase opportunity for older adults located mainly in rural areas. So the project started in 2018, and it is ending soon because it would be over by the end of May 2023. So it was a 3-year exchange of experience, collecting more than 70 good practices, organizing also field study visits and listening to experts during international thematic seminars. And then, thanks to this inter-regional exchange, partners, so 9 partners, then developed 8 action plans to influence on their policy instrument and to drive change locally. We had our final conference last February, and we're about to publish in a few days or weeks the final results fact sheet of the project, which is summarizing all our results and outcomes. So stay tuned, and it will be available on the Silver SME webpage, and also you will be able to find it via our LinkedIn account. So the Silver Surfer Call for Project was launched in 2015. Its main purpose is to boost the innovation for healthy aging and provide innovative solutions for seniors who are gradually, let's say, losing their independence, and the idea is to enable them to age in place. So the idea is to set up a financial support dedicated to these small businesses in order to help them to develop their prototype, their proof of concept, and also to enhance testing sessions with end users throughout the whole process, to make sure that the solution they are developing is actually answering the needs for older adults. We've brought together a pool of partners composed of institutional partners and also private stakeholders who are engaged with us in the silver economy, and everyone has their own expertise. We have the Regional County Council of the Northern France, the Région Hauts-de-France. We have also local authorities. In France, they are called départements. We have also private stakeholders, such as innovation funders from insurance companies, patient funds, or innovation association. And we are partnering also with nursing homes or healthcare organization. They are acting like testing areas to ensure, as I said before, that the innovation meets the needs of the elderly people. So some key figures, because we have the 8th edition of the Silver Surfer Call ended beginning of March of this year. It was the 8th edition, as I said. So so far we have received more than 170 applications for 55 proof of concept funded. We have awarded 27 projects that have related to 28 different thematics in the field of healthy aging and living. So what is the Silver Surfer value proposition? Well, we are ensuring that the small businesses that want to develop their solution, their service or product, they can really test them directly with the end user. That is really important. We also provide with fundings and support for awarded SMEs, as well as expertise on ergonomics or design. The Silver Surfer Call for Projects is also a networking opportunity, thanks to all the partners that we have brought together, as I said before, such as institutional partners or private partners. And it's an opportunity for the small businesses to gain visibility, let's say, through exhibition that we are organizing in our different regional demonstration spaces, showrooms, let's say, such as HIPA. I will let you know more about this practice after. And our European Business Convention, Aging Fit. So yeah, to put it in a nutshell, let's say, so Silver Surfer is an initiative that is setting up a financial support dedicated to SMEs in their silver economy, really to enhance them to invest and offer, to invest in products and services that really answer the needs for other adults. And since last year, we managed, let's say, to extend this call for projects outside the health sector to encourage more and more entrepreneurs from different backgrounds to engage in the silver economy. Regarding HIPA, the second good practice that I wanted to talk about. So HIPA is a demonstration flat that was launched in 2018. He's located in a peri-urban area in northern France still. It's a demonstration flat which is dedicated to healthy aging. Is equipped with technological and digital solutions, mainly off-the-shelf ones. The idea is really to outreach end user, so elderly people, but also health professionals, to get some information about the solutions that are currently available on the market, and which are aiming to age in place and to prevent from the loss of independence from the elderly people. So we're exhibiting solutions that are covering different aspects, let's say, so nutrition, security, well-being, and social abilities, and mobility and adaptability, housing adaptability. So let's say that HIPA could be like considered as an example of a tiny smart home. So we are organizing visits, while individually are for a group of people throughout the whole year. Well, due to the COVID outbreak and the restriction measures, the flat was closed. So elderly people could not be informed about the digital tools that could help them for independent living and enable them to stay longer at home. So in 2021, we decided to create a complete, let's say, virtual visit of the flat. So the tool was designed to be accessible to as many people as possible, so they can keep being informed and be aware of innovative technologies. So, well, it's working, but we are kind of facing a hurdle, which is the digital literacy, of course, of elderly people. So we are working on it, but the idea that we are now currently implementing is to combining this digital version with a system of, we call that test boxes. These are boxes that are comprised of several devices that are exhibited in our HIPA flats that can be tested at home by the elderly people, so they can evaluate whether they are able to use the device, and that is the most important, if the device also answers their needs. So that's yeah, here you can find the evolution of HIPA throughout the years. So we are right now in the process of developing the test box throughout the territory. And in this year, we have also launched a call for projects to identify other solutions to be exhibited in our HIPA, and we have also launched a new demonstration flat in a more rural area nearby. And we are also working on a dedicated online platform for housing adaptation. So we have managing different development aspects of the HIPA project, which is mainly funded by an institutional partner, which is the Département du Pas-de-Calais. And we have also collected funds from a foundation, a French one, Massif, which is an insurance company. And we are partnering well, we have submitted a project within the Northwest Europe second call, sorry, which is called Vital. So the idea is to test and accelerate the concept of test boxes at home throughout interregional transnational cooperation within Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. So we should have the answer of the first step in April, so very soon. So, well, the idea is really to, our goal is to really increase elderly people, accessibility to technologies, and also the number of seniors using it, and testing different model of assistive technology, kind of library systems in which people have access to the technology and they can use it, test it, and evaluate it. Thank you for your attention. Here you can find Sorel Norestani's contact details if you have any further question, or I know that here we have like 5 minutes discussions, so feel free to ask your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice, so much for excellent presentation and sharing experience in those two projects. As Lotte has written in chat, please put your questions if you have any to Alice directly to the chat, so we can read them out and answer. But if there are still no questions for the moment, I can perhaps ask one from my side. That based on your experience and the projects you were describing, Alice, do you feel that currently the development initiative for silver economy comes more from a public sector, from government side, or is it already that really the companies are in a leading seat and trying to innovate and come up with a product? So who is currently the main contributor in this project process in your region?
Well, I would try to have to get an answer, but I think both stakeholders have their expertise. Regarding innovation, for sure we have a lead, let's say, from the private sector. But regarding a more structural way of, for example, for funding innovation, also to promote the ecosystem, we have an initiative in France that is bringing, let's say, together new stakeholders, which are called Gérontopole. So this new structure is gathering different stakeholders who has their different expertise. So yeah, in terms of technology, I would say that the private sector is leading the way, but regarding also the ecosystem, promoting the ecosystem and ensuring a consistency, let's say, I think that the institution have their role are in their role, and they are playing an active role in it.
Thank you so much, Alice. I don't see any questions, any direct questions to Alice in chat, unless I'm missing one.
Rene, I might just a remark. I just wanted to rebound shortly on what Alice mentioned. I've seen we have someone in the in the audience from the Gérontopole Nouvelle-Aquitaine. So the organization is also represented today. They are with us. And I wanted to maybe to ask Alice a complementary question on the use of the HIPA by the company, because Alice, you insist, you presented a lot how it is accessible, it makes technology accessible to all the people. How is the collaboration working with the companies? What kind of agreements? How does it work? Do the company provide you the pieces of technology, and then you there is an agreement with them, or how
Yes.
does that work? Yeah.
Yes, we have a partnership agreement with the companies. So they are providing us with their technology, with their product or service. But the idea is not to it's not to get one as a favorite. I mean, we are selecting. We have a process of selecting technologies. So I will be will know more about the selection criteria. But the idea is to have like a not frequent but turnover of the innovation that we are exhibiting in the HIPA and in the ARN flat. But yes, we do have a partnership agreement. The duration is 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Rene, I do not see additional questions from now.
From chat. So, all right. In that case, thank you so much, Alice, once again.
There is one. Just sorry,
there is one.
Yeah, there is one, but so someone asking if GEMS, maybe it's coming from a company, if they could apply to test their patented solution, but maybe it's easier if there is a direct contact with
sure, yes.
outside the webinar, probably to explore this question. So it might be a bit long in the context of a webinar for a specific case.
So we'll facilitate this question and put together Alice.
James,
so
please, you might contact Alice and an organization outside of the webinar, maybe.
Yes, please do. Wait, our contact details were on the slide and also on the Eurosante website.
Thank you so much, Alice, once again. Excellent
you.
job and good luck with continuation.
Thank you.
Then let's move to our next speaker. We are moving then from France to North to Scotland. And I welcome Joanne Boyle to share your experience, what you do.
Okay, Rene, despite all the checks, I am having some issues actually sharing my screen for some reason.
Let's see. If it does not work out, we have a backup option by Lotte, who has your slides. And I see something upcoming, and I think
I think that's Lotte.
Ah, that's Lotte. Okay, so you can just then indicate to Lotte change slide, so she can move to the next one if that works better.
Okay. So my name is Joanne Boyle. I am head of engagement, but I also have the responsibility for heading up both the Healthy Aging Innovation Cluster, and DHI also runs a Digital Mental Health Innovation Cluster. Both innovation clusters are detailed on our website, so I won't go into the digital mental health. I'm here to talk about the healthy aging one today. So if I can have the next slide, Lotte, please. So I think it's always helpful for people to understand where we come from and where we work. This is the building that we are situated in. And it's also important, I think, to state at this part that the Digital Health Innovation Centre is the National Innovation Centre for Digital Health and Care. But that means that we're also partnered with Strathclyde University and Glasgow School of Design. And the two buildings that you see in the picture actually are where we work. more or less in the centre of Glasgow, which gives us an excellent opportunity to link with the rest of Scotland from a transport and rail and flight opportunities. So people are more than welcome to come and visit us in Glasgow. Next slide, please, Lotta. So I think it's helpful just to give a bit of an overview. As I said, we are the National Digital Health and Care Innovation Centre. There are 7 innovation centres in Scotland, and we are the only one that covers the area of health. We do work closely with another few innovation centres which cover the areas of data. There's also an innovation centre for construction, and there's also one for sensing sensors. So they're the ones that we tend to work with most closely. There are obviously other innovation centres for other sectors within Scotland, other market sectors, including oil and gas, fisheries and various other areas. But again, just because of limitations of time, I won't go into too much detail. So we are funded by the Scottish Government, and we are also funded by the Scottish Funding Council. The Scottish Funding Council are a body which oversee all of the 19 universities in Scotland, and the money is top sliced and then shared across the innovation centres to create that opportunity for translational research. And that's essentially taking knowledge into practice and making an impact. And that's certainly something that we have to feed back on and report on, is the impact that we make. We work with the public sector and commercial industry, including SMEs, right through to enterprise level, as you can see, and all academic institutions and citizens. You can see there from the slide, the innovation that we're looking to achieve is in digital health and care and making sure that the people of Scotland live longer, healthier lives. But we're also focused on the economy within Scotland as well. And as I've already said, we're partnered with Glasgow School of Design and Strathclyde University. Next slide, please, Lotta. So again, this is information on our website, but just to reinforce that we are actually looking at service innovation. We're also looking at technical innovation, and we're looking at business innovation. And if we can move to the next slide, Lotta. What we're looking to do is to use all of those particular skills that we have in order to create that opportunity for innovation to then be adopted at scale. One of the areas that we are responsible for certainly is looking at that horizon scanning. And again, this all these details are actually on our website. So I just wanted to bring your attention to them, and for reference that people can check when the slides are actually shared later on. Could I have the next slide, please, Lotta? Thank you. So I'm keen to get into the core of the discussion today, and I think it's sometimes easier having graphics for people to visualize what we actually do as an innovation centre. So we primarily are focused around innovation clusters, and which I've mentioned earlier on. We cover for healthy ageing and digital mental health. We also have a portfolio of projects that we work with health and social care and third sector partners. And we have a research and skills and knowledge exchange team where we are specifically focusing on the future skills that will be required the skills that will be required for our future workforce around the area of digital health and care. And then we have our exchange, which allows the use and creation of dummy data or false data to allow the visualization of data flow between various different systems. So that's something that we've been tasked by the Scottish Government to actually look at. But I'm keen to focus on the first pillar there on the innovation cluster. So if I can move to the next slide, please, Lotta. So again, just for purposes of governance, we, with our innovation cluster for healthy ageing, we do feedback into the digital citizen delivery panel. And this is the reference that I wanted to bring people's attention to. We have this plan, and I think it's very helpful to certainly have that mandate at Scottish Government level, or sorry, national government level, which gives us almost the executive sponsorship to move forward and to create that innovation and to create the situation for innovation. As you can see, there are 4 priorities there that the delivery plan actually focuses on, and certainly that innovation part is the area that we're really keen to look at, and particularly around redesigning services. If I can move to the next slide, please, Lotte. So we have a very robust methodology that we've used. You may have come across a company called Matter of Focus. We have partnered up with Matter of Focus, and one of the advantages of Matter of Focus is that it enables us to actually use the software that they have, and the software covers all of the areas that you can see in the slide here. It may be helpful just to bring that to life a little. So if I can ask Lotte to move to the next slide, please, that helps. So whilst this might be small text, again, all of this information is on our website. But what this enables us to do is to take an outcome-based approach from the very beginning with all of our stakeholders, and our stakeholders are academic, business and civic partners. And at the start of our innovation cluster, we met with all of our stakeholders to actually begin to map out what we wanted to achieve within the innovation cluster so that we had a shared understanding. And this enables us to review against those outcomes. But the OutNav software tool enables us to gather evidence on an ongoing basis. And that enables us to then generate reports for our panel and the digital citizen panel that I mentioned, so that we can evidence and provide information on the progress that we're also making. Next slide, please, Lotte. So within the innovation cluster, what we're looking to actually do quite clearly is to create that opportunity to accelerate and to have innovation adopted. But what we do is by bringing people together collectively, we're bringing all of those interests, skills and knowledge and creating that connectivity. And within that then enables us that platform to share information and knowledge. And then we are able to build potential collaborations around that by identifying options or funding opportunities, and then creating that opportunity to share that information with our members. We have at present over 997 members, and that continues to increase. And we produce a monthly newsletter that goes out so that we can actually create that vehicle for sharing that information. Next slide, please, Lotte. So I was asked to share this with you because I think it's a very helpful diagram, which is from the World Health Organization and Aging 2.0. And essentially, this has condensed the 8 agreed grand challenges that are known globally for people that are around the area of healthy aging. And I think these are known to us all, but the area that I really want to begin to focus in on is brain health, which you will see to the left of the slide. Next slide, please, Lotte. So just to give an example before I go into brain health, what I wanted to say was that this was an opportunity that we created in partnership with UKRI, which is UK Research and Innovation. And by being that singular point of contact as a healthy aging innovation cluster within Scotland, we were able to host this particular challenge, which then gave us the opportunity to share that with our members. If we can move on to the next slide, Lotte. And as you can see, that gave the opportunity for up to £2 million to receive £2 million. But what it did enable was that opportunity, because a business had to lead the submission, it then enabled other businesses to join together to create that collaboration or to join up with civic partners. And by having that membership within the innovation cluster, we're able to match up those potential people who want to partner up and actually work together. Next slide, please, Lotte. So one of the examples that I wanted to talk about was brain health. And I don't really need to go into the statistics of the global aging population that we have. And with that global aging population, we have an increasing prevalence of dementia. Now, whilst dementia in itself is an entire area that we could spend the whole event talking about, I don't really want to talk about that. I think what's key to get across is the message that this is a life course approach that we're taking now within Scotland. Scotland has agreed to have a national strategy for brain health, and brain health is not just associated with older people. As I said, it's a life course, so we're beginning to work with schools and primary school age children from 5 upwards to teach them about the importance and prioritizing brain, looking after your health of your brain as much as your physical health too. Next slide, please, Lotte. Sorry, I think this might, yeah, you might need to just move on. There we are. Okay, so again, that's just emphasizing it's across the life course. If we can move on to the next slide, please, Lotte. So this is the brain health strategy that I spoke about. Again, there's the details there, and you can go in and look at that for more information. What I should emphasize at this point is that Scotland is one of 5 countries in Davos Dementia that's looking at this area of brain health. So it's clearly a very important area globally, and it's excellent that we have that opportunity as a country to be able to feed back the information, but also share with other countries about how they're actually approaching this area. Next slide, please, Lotte. So in partnership with the Scottish Dementia Research Consortium, DHI took a design-led approach to have a 2-day workshop where we discussed potential opportunities, and again that was bringing the academic, business and civic partners together to share that intelligence. And what we were looking to do was to create a white paper from that and also set up a specialist interest group, which we have. If I can move on to the next slide, and we have some details hopefully around that, Lotte. So again, this is just the workshop and taking that design-led approach, which people will be familiar with. Next slide, please, Lotte. So what that then enabled us to do when we had the output from that workshop was we had another innovation centre then approach us with a funding opportunity, and they were looking to tap into an area of prominence. And because there is a national strategy within Scotland, that's giving, I suppose, the national government mandate to say that brain health is an increasing area of importance and that we want to look at that. So next slide, please, Lotte. So we worked with Data Lab, and as part of DataFest last year, we launched this potential challenge around brain health, which then gives us that opportunity to take the information from our innovation cluster and spread it into other clusters or relevant clusters to be able to exchange that information and provide that opportunity for SMEs and other partners. Next slide, please, Lotte. So these were the 4 themes that came from the particular white paper. And again, we have more information on our website. And alongside our website, every event that we have held with our innovation clusters is recorded. Any reports that we mention are uploaded, and all presentations and slides are actually uploaded. So we've created a virtual resource bank on our particular website within the innovation cluster. Next slide, please, Lotte. So again, details of the special interest group, again, they're on our website, but this was just to flag that up with participants. If I can have the next slide, please, Lotte. So this is our Digital Health and Care Network. It's free to join. That is the overarching umbrella area that's specifically around digital health and care. If I can have the next slide, that's the QR code for specifically for healthy aging. And then the next slide, Lotte, is our LinkedIn group. So in response to our SME members and civic members, they wanted to have an opportunity or a platform that they could then share information in between meetings. So we agreed to set up this LinkedIn group, which we've done. And I think that's my last slide, Lotte. Okay.
Thank you so much, Joanne. Excellent presentation and very impressive work you have been doing in Scotland. Let's see if we got any questions from the chat. I don't see any yet, but while people are perhaps still thinking and writing them, let me start by asking you. You mentioned the very impressive numbers that you have almost 1,000 members, 990 something.
Yes.
So this was really impressive. I just wanted to understand a bit more which type of organizations are your members. Is it mostly SMEs, or is it also all kind of public sector organizations and NGOs, or can you describe a bit the membership and interest from different sectors?
Of course. So it's because it's free to join, I think we have a broad interest from both the business sector, but also the academic sector. And then we have, when we say civic, that includes health, social care, third sector, housing colleagues. And then we also have, citizens themselves, and then potentially carers that are involved with that around this specific area. I think we tend to find our membership increases when we've taken a much more focused area to some of the themes that I identified within the grand challenges. So, for example, when we have looked at brain health, this is an emerging area of interest. And I think that certainly generated an increase in the membership numbers that we have, and also companies. The innovation cluster, because we're partnered with the Scottish Government and we host the innovation cluster on behalf of the government, part of the role of our organisation is to spell out the strategic intent of the government, and also what are the priority areas, which then is information and intelligence that can be shared with our SME colleagues to know the direction of travel, and to know also where they might want to focus their effort in either product innovation or service innovation. So I think it's a really good opportunity and platform to share that information, so that what we're doing is helping to shape the market by sharing that information. And I was very interested in the previous presentation that's something, so we're clearly on the right track in taking that approach to be able to share that information and to create a two-way opportunity for discussion around that. So we often have our partners from the government coming along to talk about specific areas, which then allows direct access to key leaders for our business communities to ask them specific questions at the innovation cluster meetings.
Thank you. Just to follow on quickly, you mentioned that you also have individual members out of those nearly 1,000 members. I mean, what type of persons are they? Are they researchers, or are they just normal citizens, or just to understand the base of your individual members?
So we have an array of members. Yes, we do have individual members who may be interested or have maybe worked in this specific area. But I think because we have that overarching network of digital health and care, when we ask people to join our network, we have specific areas that we ask them to identify that they might be interested in. So as an organisation, again, following the government lead and from our horizon scanning, we identify the areas that are of topical interest or are beginning to become more notable within digital health and care. So cardiovascular might be an area, for example, that we ask people to identify. So we might have some companies that come into our network who've originally been interested in the area of cardiovascular digital health, but then realize that there's a crossover with healthy aging, and then become members within our healthy aging innovation cluster, because it's maybe they haven't necessarily made that connection. So it's often about making that connection or strategic connections for our members too.
Thank you, Joan. Let me see if there are any questions meanwhile, which we have got. I don't see any in that, I see a comment also from James that they would also love to try out your sales solution in Scotland as well. But as previously, you can take it individually already as a follow-on discussion.
And we would encourage James to join our network, and then he receives any information when we have events or when we're looking to create collaborations or funding opportunities.
Excellent. So thank you very much, Joan, once again, and good luck continuing your work and increasing number of your members in cluster beyond 1,000 and more. And let's move now to our final presentation, and we move back to south, to Hungary. And I welcome Balazs on the stage, on virtual stage. So please, the floor is yours, and you have also 15 minutes.
Thank you. Rene, can you see my presentation?
Yes, all good. Full screen already. Great.
Thank you so much. So my name is Balazs. As you said, Rene, we are from South. We like to call them, I think all of us like to call them Central. Actually, Central Eastern Europe, where we are from. You can see from the dark and green that there's the western part of Hungary, actually the region where I'm from. And what I will spoke about is novel solutions we develop for health aging. First, just as Joanne and Alice did, just one slide about us. So organization name is Pannon Business Network, and we are an applied research and training center. We are focusing on digitalization, mostly on manufacturing, and I will come to that, how it relates to the health and care industry. We are extremely internationally oriented, and we are not a huge organization. We are 31 people in total, but we are trying to be as active as possible. We have more 150 business customers, and we have our own lab. One of them is for digitalization in manufacturing, and the other one is digitalization in care industries. We have in a year approximately 1,000 visitors coming to our location. So what I'd like to speak about, and I'd like to explain how we approach that, how we try to create an environment for job creation from senior health aging. So how not look at health aging as a potential problem for the society, but on the other hand, how to try to make some kind of benefit out of that for companies. In that respect, it's very important for us that we are not talking about European Union projects to the environment we are working with. We are not talking about sophisticated visions because they don't understand, especially when we talk about long term. And we are always inviting them to short, very on-target workshops. And we try to incorporate any kind of return on investment in any sense for them. It can be attention, it can be care, it can be financial, dependent on the target group we talk about. So the challenge is how to be strategic and operational when we want to achieve that kind of job creation in the field of senior health aging. How we approached it is that we started with building a broad partnership for strategic planning. So we developed a 10-year development program within the community locally, and we invited universities, municipality, chamber of commerce, large companies, and so on. But we also invited the citizens, and we used local media for that. So we are a small area. It's 80,000 people in the city, and it's something like 400,000 in the total area. And despite of that, 1,000 people participated with explicit opinions with contribution to the strategic plan, the 10-year strategic plan we have developed. It was also very important for us that we established a formal local partnership. So it's not just a strategic vision in the drawer, but we said in front of the media, with the key stakeholders, with the rectors, with the mayor, and so on, and we signed together this commitment because it was an attention from the media. It had awareness raising, but it also definitely drastically increased the commitment of the key stakeholders in the development. What was also very essential for us that we also worked on identifying financial resources. So it's not like Joanne in Scotland. We are not a funding body. We are not a management authority. It's only beneficiaries or intermediaries we are talking about. So we had to identify different kind of financial resources. We started working on this program 3.5 years ago by now. So far, we accumulated roughly 4 million euros for the first phase of the implementation of the plans, but I will explain in a second. It was also important for us that we build an infrastructure for that. As Alice explained from Eurosante, with the household, we have also built this kind, we call it Smart Senior Room. I will put in the chat the link to that, where we build an infrastructure for inspiration and awareness raising for the entire ecosystem, what digitalization will bring in the care in the coming years. And we organize large-scale events locally, where we explain why robotics or artificial intelligence is coming to the senior care, what will be its role. It's not something to be afraid of, but it's much more something that we can start working on how to benefit from. Then it's also important that I will show you that we are not talking about isolated actions or isolated projects, but how we develop a holistic approach out of that. And now what it was also questioned in the chat that how can we have test infrastructure? We started also organizing a test infrastructure for the products developed. So it's a vision, it's a partnership, it's financial resources, it's an interest raising and test infrastructure also connected to that. So as you can see on the chart here, these are the 7 steps we have made from sensitization, and we are using also a digital innovation hub where we develop the prototypes. We can make CGI movies around it. Then we have a local test infrastructure. Currently, it's 13-15 households. By the end of the year, we want to have 100 households, private households connected for testing those products that we are developing. And in Notre project, where we were invited by Rene and Luc and Lotte for this presentation, we intend to connect these households, not just in Hungary, but also within the Notre partnership all around Europe. So we can provide a European platform for prototype testing and validation for the care industry. And of course, due to the Digital Innovation Hub, we are capable to scale up and make tools and different kind of development opportunities, from digital twin to simulation, AR, and so on, to make as professional manufacturing as possible. What was the role of Interreg Europe projects within that? First, I'd like to emphasize that we were a partner. It just closed yesterday, the intensive project, where we were partners, and we visited Seinäjoki 4 years ago, where we saw this. I think Joanne used the expression showroom, so it's kind of showroom, and this is where we developed the Smart Senior Room, and we also learned how we can make involvement of end users, seniors, and patients into the development of services. And this is what we started at that time. We are also very proud to be accredited as a health reference site about half a year ago. But we also work together, and it's a very important partner for us is the European Connected Health Alliance. The reason why they are important is they are globally connecting health ecosystems. And we are working together in a Horizon project where we look at globally what are the health ecosystems available, how we can specifically work on health and personalized nutrition, and how we can adopt those learnings into the individual ecosystems. The reason why I was invited, and I don't want to not talk about that, that's the Notre project. Basically, you can see on the chart, it's novel methods improving production innovation potential in the field of senior care. The photo is from the household Smart Senior Room we have developed with the talking robot and sensor technology and dementia monitoring and so on. The project itself started officially 1st of March. The reason why I look even more exhausted than normal is that we've just finished the Notre kickoff today. So we have the partners from all around Europe visiting us, where we showcase them what we are doing, and we discussed how we plan to go ahead in the coming 3 years. This is the partnership. So as I said, we have the European Connected Health Alliance from Ireland, which is the global connector for ecosystems. Then Alice I was happy to see her from Eurosante. So today we had an explanation about Gerontopol, and how it's structured and how it's working. They are a very essential partner for us as a benchmark. Of course, different size, different orientation, but still the approach and structure and way of thinking is very essential for us. Then we have the partner of Siena, Emilia Romagna from Bologna. Then we have San Sebastian there. Then Seinäjoki from Finland, from the northern part. And we are working together with the Prime Minister's office in Hungary just to make sure that whatever we discuss will be implemented also on national level. And we have the western region of Romania. So that's the partnership. So what we focus on here within the partnership is how to have more efficient policy instrument, enabling more efficient healthy aging related innovation. So that's the core focus we would like to achieve. But as an end result of that, of course, it has to lead to higher survival and expansion success rates of the new companies and SMEs in that sector. So this is what we are aiming at together. There are 4 elements of NOTRe that we believe will lead to success. First of all is that each of the partner has some kind of test and experimentation environment that we develop. We can call it smart senior room, showroom, whatever infrastructure, but we all have that experience. And for example, we are a small area, but last year, in the year of opening already, we had 700 visitors coming to us, formal caregiver, informal caregiver, and senior target group members equally. And then we exchange experience with the partners who is operating his demo infrastructure and how it's done. Then what is also important that I've just explained about the test facility with the households. So we use the private households as a test infrastructure. And then we would like to build up the European network of that test infrastructures where we can have product launches tested and validated in a very controlled environment with respect to usability. And what we have learned in the years with working with Interreg Europe is that first we didn't understand what is a stakeholder, what is involvement of stakeholders, should we take it seriously or not? And I hope the JS is not here. But what was important that we learned why it's so important, because we cannot do it. It's just a project that is finishes if we don't have the policymakers and all other involvement bodies on our side. And the best way to get them on our side is to bring them abroad to study visits, to get them engagement, excitement, and then we speak the same vocabulary. So yesterday, for example, on intensive closing conference, our vice mayor was presenting, and she spoke exactly the same language as all the other experts there. She understood the concept of visionary thinking and translating that to operational activities. What is the issue with fundraising? How to start from patient engagement? So it was a clear evidence why regional stakeholder involvement is so essential for us. And actually, we were almost 60 people on the closing event. So it shows that each of the partners brought a large pool of stakeholders with them who are equally committed to implement actions in the field of care. And of course, it's also important that we don't restrict ourselves to the partnership. Even as we can be as competent as possible, if we are so arrogant that we don't want to learn from others, or if we don't have the possibility to learn from others, then we will go down. And this is why it's essential that we have the European Connected Health Alliance. They have 2 roles. One of them is that they are educating us how to have how to have stakeholder involvement in a sustainable way. So not just to sign something, not just to commit something, but to do it in an agile way over the years. It's a big challenge. So this is what we are focusing on with them. And the other aspect is we are focusing on how to look outside the partnership. So we have now information about what's going on in Boston or in Florida, what's going on in Brazil or Australia or India. And we have a lot of inputs and impulses on how to develop our care companies, and then also how to bring them new opportunities outside the partnership. So basically, this is what I have thought of sharing for the event.
Thank you, Balazs, so much for excellent presentation and sharing some other experience. Just to reply to your remark about the GS Joint Secretariat presence, they are very much present. So I welcome Ilaria and Laurencio here.
I know.
But yeah, so let's see if there are any questions to Balazs from our participants. I don't see any, but if anybody still wants to put, so please write. But I will ask one question from my side as well. If I understood correctly, most of your activities, Balazs, have been targeted to product development and on a kind of prototyping level. But do you already have some actual products which have brought to the market and which are available on the market, which you have been helping to develop, or is it still in the kind of development phase and they have not entered the market yet?
No. We do have. We have oxygen inhalator prototype that we have developed, where we have it's an oxygen mask. We 3D printed the parts. We prepared CGI commercial about that, and they went to the market. It proved to be successful, and now we prepared tool for them for mass production. So I think that was a nice example. We are also testing now smart blood measurement tools for seniors, which is also very exciting experiment for the partnership. So we do have already, let's say, 4 or 5 products that are already elaborated in that context.
And in terms of your business model, to understand it better, and perhaps also interesting for other participants, for those products which are already or on the market or close to the market, who is covering your service costs? I mean, the testing and development cost. Is it companies directly? Is it public sector? Is it some sort of public-private partnership?
So basically, the seniors themselves, they are very excited to get engaged in such experiments, because now they feel, again, important part of the society, because they have a voice and they can make it and it's listened to. So that's first. Second, and they do it at the moment free of charge. We also organize them monthly meetings. When they get together, they talk with each other, so they can also socialize. This isolation and loneliness is also treated in a certain way by that. We have 2 kind of agreements with them. One is a framework agreement, including all the GDPR elements and so on, and the other one is a business contract. For the business contract, we are approaching companies, telling them that if you have a prototype that you are ready to launch on the market, we are there for you. Depend on the level of service you demand. We have different kind of price ranges we can offer you. The third element is that we are, for example, organizing now startup competitions for students where they can develop smart senior furnitures. And we develop those furnitures, and the winners' products will be prepared, actually manufactured, and it will be tested also by the seniors. So this it's a many levels or layers we are trying to incorporate in that.
Thank you so much, Balazs. Any questions? Let me check the chat. I don't think so, unless there is a question from Luc or our own team. If not, then I would propose we will move to the next part of our webinar, which is a panel discussion. Unfortunately, our first speaker, Alice, had to leave for other commitments, so we only have Joan and Balazs to join it. And the format of the panel discussion is that we now go to the topics beyond the presentations shared today. So we look at more general topics and well, can also be more specific ones if anybody is interested. And also for the panel discussion, we encourage very much participants to share the questions and comments on the broader topic of a silver economy and the role of SMEs they can play in this process. We are a bit behind the schedule, so we can devote perhaps 10-15 minutes to the panel discussion, and then we have a closing remark from our side as well. So while I'm waiting for possible questions and comments from the participants to the panelists, let me start with a question which actually was submitted to us previously. I mean, before the webinar started as a preparation by one of the participants, and this is about digital divide. And the question more specifically was that how can you take into account the fact that many elderly people are not actually able to adapt and use those highly digital and highly technological solutions, and how to find solutions so we wouldn't have this digital divide in silver economy where some people can access the solutions and other just don't have skills and experience to do it. So perhaps I can ask both of the panelists to reflect on this question, and perhaps we can start with Joanne and then go to Balazs.
Certainly. I think there are actually many common misconceptions around older people and technology, and I think if we use or we think about technology, often the examples that we are given of people using technology in their homes relate to their phone or their mobile phone. The only difficulty that we have there is sometimes it's more about the version of the phone that people have that then prohibits them from actually using certain types of applications or certain types of services and devices. So I think it's not necessarily always the case that older people can't use technology, and I think that's the starting point. But the other point that I would probably make is that when we are working, part of bringing our innovation cluster members together is that whole approach of using a user-led design approach. And if you start with the individual and you design around the individual and you work with that user and any other users that maybe have to have, you then gain the insights and actually you should have theoretically a product that actually meets the challenge that you're identifying at the very beginning of that process. And that's certainly been our experience as an innovation centre, is that you can't necessarily take a product and shoehorn it into dealing with a problem. It's understanding, identifying what the problem is in the first place, and then designing around that problem.
All right, thank you, John. Balazs, what would you say to this question and what Joan also mentioned?
When we have the seniors, it's never a problem. It's a matter of motivation. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So if they like it, what Joanne said, if it fits their needs, then they will find it. I mean, the most senior Skype group there is in the city, it's for seniors above 85. Mm-hmm. And they organize their 70 or what kind of anniversary of their exam when they were 18 years old. Yeah. So they are much better in terms of using those devices than we assume. The issue is when we invited informal caregivers, that was the same. And when we invited formal caregivers, social workers were also very good and the doctors were very bad. And it was a very sad experience that GPs were the worst in terms of using digital tools, much worse than the seniors who are talking about uploading their files to the cloud and then how to share it. So it's I think that's not the issue. We have to be smart about that, that's for sure, but I don't feel as a bottleneck for seniors.
Okay.
And I think when I said users, I think there are two different levels of users. There are the individuals who might be older, but there are also the staff, as Balazs is identified, and that's one of the reasons that we started our whole work stream around looking at the future workforce and the current workforce and the skills that the digital skills that they may need to enable and support older people as well. So we have a number of research reports on our website that can be shared.
Great, thank you for sharing, and we can also share this information with the participants. If you provide us links or references, that would be good if we would have. Let me check if we have got any other questions from the participants to the panelists. If not, then I will continue with my own couple of questions, or at least one more. And this relates to your overall feeling of the current market situation and innovation development in silver economy areas, because as we discussed previously, there are many of subdomains and sectors which are involved. And my question is, do you feel that this is currently in a market phase which is more dominated by so-called technology pull approach, that the universities and companies are trying to pull out some technologies and see if there will be a market? Or do you see it's already a kind of technology push, I meant technology push firstly, but now if there is already a signs that it's actually technology pulls, that there are services which have been voiced by the aging population that they would actually need, and there is a clear, so to say, demand sign emerging. I don't know who wants to start.
I'm looking at Balazs. Balazs is
I didn't want to be unpolite. So I think technology is far more advanced than development companies can catch up with. And what everybody is trying to do is to monopolize the platform. That you have to use a Siemens, or you have to use Telecom, or whatever platform, or Huawei, or Apple, and that's what they are going for. And they are not able to provide the right applications within that. They are focusing on the platform and then having the data. And these big companies are not flexible enough to serve this demand, I think. The other issue is that in the social care, where we have more knowledge about, and locally again, is that there is a big tension that the social care system is overloaded, people are underpaid, and the tension will further grow because of the continuous aging. So it's for sure there is a market there, and the companies are not capable, the large companies, to supply it. And what happens is that there are small innovative companies. They come up with ideas, they are looking for test environment, and then they want to be sold to large companies. That's where I felt the space with the colleagues, that in that process, either the big fish, when they want to buy the small fish, wants to see if it's really working, or the small fish wants to pretend to be bigger and looking for a validation environment to look larger, yeah, and that's currently the situation in my understanding.
Thank you, Balazs. Any comments from John?
I think my only experience, yes, I would echo everything that Balazs said, but I think there are, through some of the funding challenges that we've hosted, we've seen opportunities to bring together and create those innovation partnerships with larger companies and smaller companies, so that you get the best of both worlds. Sometimes the larger companies have the credibility and financial backing to be able to be more innovative, but it is the smaller companies that often come along with the more tailored ideas. And what we've been able to do sometimes is to bring them together to create that dialogue and to then create that partnership. And that's actually enabled innovation to happen more readily.
Thank you. I'm just looking at the chat if there are any comments or reactions we have got from the participants. I don't see any, and looking at the clock, I also see that we exactly have 6 minutes left, and as we still have this short concluding and Interreg Europe presentation part, I think we can stop here. So I want to take this opportunity and thank you once again, you, Joan and Balazs, for firstly presenting and then sharing your ideas on this relatively short panel discussion. And I wish you all the luck for developing and getting the new solutions to the market, which is definitely needed, but as described is not the easy process with a lot of challenges to address. Having said that, then we would like to use the last 5 minutes for shortly introducing you what Interreg Europe and Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform can offer. Perhaps most of that you already know, but there might be also some new elements. And I would like to invite my colleague Luc to take the screen and then present some of our value proposition, which is on top of what we have had today in the webinar. So Luc, please.
Yes, thank you, Rene. I hope you can see properly my screen.
Yes, all good.
So I will just give a few information about Interreg Europe. Of course, you have everything on our website to check. It's not a long presentation, but maybe some specific information which might be useful. So on the website, you will find information about the two main actions, the project, and we are starting, Balazs mentioned it, with the new Barta project from the new programming period. They are just starting those days, and the policy learning platform, which is like Rene and further colleagues organizing the exploitation of the project achievements and the events like today. In terms of call for project, I just wanted to mention that the second call for project proposal for Interreg Europe just opened a few days ago. Maybe some of the participants have been to the meeting in Stockholm, a very nice event, and will be open until 9th of June and open to all topic of the program. So please go to the website and check if you are interested. Still some weeks to go. And the thing I wanted to emphasize is our next event. I needed to check so we will have an annual event organized from the policy learning platform and bringing together all the different topics in a series of parallel events. As you can see, spaces for innovation, spaces for entrepreneurship. We'll talk about modern green districts and bringing back nature to the city, and we will have this event for the first time since December 2019. We'll have an event like this where we will be able to host hopefully around 160 participants from the Interreg Europe community coming from the projects or close to projects and discussing about rethinking local policies around those 4 subtopics. So it takes place on 31st of May and 1st of June 23, and I think Lotte probably included already in the chat the link where you can register for the event if you're interested, and we would be happy to see a lot of people there for this on-site event where we are very much looking forward to. And that's it from my side for now. I don't want to take too much time. Just wanted to emphasize this and ask the participant also to take some time at the end of the webinar to fill in our satisfaction survey. But having that, Rene, I give back the word to you.
Thank you, Luc, for sharing this information. And as you know, we are always open for questions and feedback and about those available services. And you are most welcome to contact us for more specific questions. Looking at at time. We are also very well in schedule. We have left exactly 1 minute, and I want to take the opportunity and to thank you once again, our excellent speakers today, 3 of them from 3 different countries, presenting number of very exciting good practices in the silver economy area. And of course, I want to thank you all the participants who joined this webinar. I very much hope that some of that which was said and heard today will be useful. Please feel free to contact the speakers directly for more specific questions and possible cooperation proposals. And of course, thank you so much also for Interreg Europe Policy Learning team who was preparing this webinar, my colleagues Mart, Lük and Lotte. And we are looking very much forward to new meetings, which we are going to organize within Interreg Europe Policy Learning platform. Have a good day and goodbye.